Out, caught the Cessna Citation. Customs today has that airplane, the Cessna Citation, with hauling drugs. We have the Chase airplane. That's rather cool. U.S. Customs, still painted in their colors. And I mean doomed. Pieces, parts, doors are missing, tails are missing. When they get the red paint on them, they're liable to be, I don't know, metal walls. Everything over here is pieces, parts. Even these old helicopters, you'll see some of the boxes marked with red. That means the manager of that specific helicopter type says, chop it up. We're going to go down and make a U-turn, but I want you to look off here to the south. You'll see B-52s. The Russians were a big help. We were taking the B-52s and chopping them up with a 13-ton guillotine, and you just messed it all up. They would drive KC-135s. You'll notice this one here from Castle Air Force Base. Look at the engines on this thing. I mean, they are polluters. Well, guess what? You see some commercial airliners here? $444,000 we bought those 707s. We took the engines off and put them on our airplanes, the tankers, and we saved $1 million in airplane. Yeah, that's a lot. They're still getting parts on these. I was a witness to that at Yokota Air Base back in the 70s. A Northwest walls in it. That's where the airplanes come in, back there, right by the old C-130s. They park over there for just a little while. They drain all the fuel out of it. They suck out all the fuel. They take all the explosives, all the things that go bang in the night. And that's where they're made safe. Helicopters are all going to go to Forest Service. There's a lot of stuff out here. They moved a lot of the 135s that were good from this area and put them way in the back. It's a lot of area. Way in the back now on the west side, you'll see another gaggle of F-16s. So there's 3 of them, 3 F-16 parking lots. Whoa. We're going out of the base, going out of the Boneyard right now, so I'd like to ask you to please put your cameras down while we go through the base. I'll tell you about the radar thing on the tail that looks at your body or your missile or whatever it is. The big probe sticking out the back there is called the MAD, M-A-D. It's Magnetic Anomaly Detector. Like that one helicopter that had the orange and yellow thing that would go out the back and you could send a beep down and find metal underwater, mines or submarines. C-130 is this last one here with a pod on the outboard side of the engine. These are refuelers. So they can refuel our C-130s, they can refuel helicopters, whatever, small fighters. Wow. Now imagine this row of 130s right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, all the way down to the water tower. Many years ago, before the Tomcats, and C-130s. We as a museum are really proud of this place, and unless you're Tom Hanks or Roy Rogers or somebody like that, you're not going to get in here, period. The Boneyard folks have called us to come give X number of people this ride that you're taking right now. And that's what we show them. Now, I just watched the movie again last night, Scully, landing at the DC-9 in the Hudson. That's cool. Wasn't a DC-9 though. More industries out here than they have houses. You'll notice these 2 lots here that are empty. The first guy here was called K-Tex Aviation, used to sell airplanes. Can't buy them anymore. So they they decided that they would have cars in here. Well, that was fine, but they bought them from the wrong people because they were drug infested. The next one back